Hey guys, my name's Edith and this is Wendy, and today we'll be talking about the history of medicine in the 1970s. So we'll be talking about the CT scanner and how it's evolved over time. We'll also be talking about Nixon and the war on cancer, and we'll also be talking about a CDC's investigation on an ore smelter in El Paso, Texas.
We will be talking about vaccinations, the eradications of diseases, and the making of a new invention that was made in the 1970s known as an MRI scanner.
In 1971, after the CDC was renamed, they had launched an investigation on an ore smelter in El Paso, Texas. The company was discharging immense quantities of lead and other wastes in the air, and within the years of 1969 and 1971, it was reported that there were 92 micrograms of metallic air waste when the limit was 2.0. From the investigations, it was concluded that 2,700 people between the ages of 1 and 19 years old in El Paso, Texas, had blood levels greater than or equal to 40% of micrograms at the time. High exposure to lead is very dangerous as it can cause pain in the central nervous system to go into a coma, convulsions, or even death. Those who live with the exposure, however, are left with mental disabilities and behavioral disorders.
Later that same year, after the discovery of lead exposure, the CDC Phoenix laboratories discovered that hepatitis B is a sexually transmitted virus. This discovery led to the development of new vaccines and the start of new research. In 1974, liver cancer deaths in Kentucky were investigated, and through their investigation, they discovered that vinyl chloride, a colorless gas used primarily to make polyvinyl chloride, also known as PVC, was an occupational hazard which led to cancers, and standards were later set to provide protections for the workers. PVC is used to make packaging materials and a variety of plastic products, such as pipes, wires, and cable coatings. For these reasons, this investigation was very valuable.
In 1973, a biomedical researcher, Robert S. Leadley, was the first to enhance the CT scanner. Before it was enhanced, a Nobel Prize winner, Godfrey, and his CT scanner could only scan the head. However, Leadley was able to enhance it so the CT scanner would not only scan the head, but also the whole entire body.
Raymond V. Demanian in 1972 began to create an apparatus in which would be used to detect cancer in tissues. This apparatus was later known as an MRI scanner. In 1977, the first whole-body MRI scanner was created. Raymond V. Demanian decided to take an image of his assistant's chest, which took a total of 5 hours to produce.
During the period of the 1970s, Nixon had also begun the war on cancer. This happened because Americans had long been desiring a cure for one of the leading causes of death, cancer. And as a result, Nixon's response in the State of Union address was to launch a $100 million campaign to find a cure. As part of his efforts, by October 1971, the Army's Fort Detrick in Maryland, a warfare facility, had become the Cancer Research Center and was eventually called the Frederick Cancer Research and Development Center.
In 1973, Nixon signed the Health Maintenance Act, also known as the HMO Act, which allowed medical insurance agencies, hospitals, clinics, and doctors to begin working for-profit businesses rather than service organizations. Now that we have finished the main points of the history of medicine of the 1970s, here are some fun facts that we left out. Number 1, the first Earth Day was held on April 22nd of 1970 to raise environmental awareness. Number 2, the 1970s was an era in which bodybuilding and fitness grew immensely, since people began to understand the importance of a healthy body. Number 3, do you remember about the assistant mentioned early in the video? The one whose chest was scanned with the first whole-body MRI scanner? Well, during the making of the MRI scan, there was actually 2 assistants, but the one who was originally going to be scanned unfortunately couldn't fit in the scanner. For that reason, the second assistant had its chest scanned.
Well, that's the end of our video. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys learned something new. And that would be it. Bye!